Hello out there, and welcome back to This Bed We Made. I'm Eric with Perspective Gaming, and last we left off, we had finally made a key to look into... Does that mean someone's coming? Should I not be here?
It's locked.
Look at the box in our Let's Go Lesbians room. And we are probably closing in on some kind of climax. You'll see.
Back to 507 to try this key double. I hope it works.
Don't strictly want to throw that away. 507. Nope, not 509. Still want to leave the tip on the table just in case, because it doesn't seem like they've left yet, and that would be kind of rude.
Be careful, Sophie. You don't want this key to break.
That's right, they said that. That's a lot of evidence.
Unlike my favorite bar, this one was black. Her alliterative name will surely take you back. These two sure love their riddles.
In Atlanta, I noticed yours was pretty worn down, so I decided to buy you a new one. I hope you like it. And since you enjoy them so much, here's a little puzzle to figure out the combination. 2 5-letter words are the key, both related to our history. Unlike my favorite bar, this one was black. Well, it can't be the cat. So there was something about a black cat bar that I thought, and it was like a white cat bar or something. Her alliterative name will surely take you back. Take from the first one, take the first two. From the last one, take the last two. Okay. Hope you get better. Try to rest today. I'll bring you some soup after class.
Huh. Marcella invited you to the movies. Let me guess. You said yes.
Postman always rings twice. I wish I remembered more about that movie. That's a real movie. Playing at Lowe's Theater tonight. It's based on a novel I read a while back. I'm sure you'd love it, seeing as you love crime stories and murders so much. Nothing creepy about that. Will you come with me? Oh, God. Well, didn't mean to do that. Dear Anne, I just heard Doris Day on the radio. Doris Day. That's probably our alliterative name. And it made me think of you. Doris would be our 5-letter word. I know how much you like Sentimental Journey, counting every mile of the railroad track that takes me back. Last time I was in Texas, it felt like coming home. Now, strangely, I feel away from home. I wish you were here with me. I always feel at home in your arms. I can hardly believe it's been 5 weeks since we last saw each other. It's been 1 week since you looked at me. Sometimes I wonder if I might be going crazy. You're always in my head. Everything reminds me of you. Not only songs on the radio, but silly things like flowers in our garden and the smell of your shampoo. Or when people say the word darling, I can hear you say it with your lovely French accent. Darling. My family seems to have noticed my odd behavior, but of course I cannot tell them about you, even though I wish I could. I feel like climbing on the roof to the tallest building in Austin and shouting my feelings at you from the top of my lungs. God, I sound like a giddy teenager in love for the very first time. Maybe I am. Sometimes I am scared that all this time with you is for nothing but a dream too good to be true. I'm afraid that when I return to Montreal, I will realize you never existed, or if you do exist, you won't remember me. There's a picture of the two of us, so you know it was for real. It was real. I long for your embrace and the taste of your sweet lips. I love you, M. Can I... Okay. Cute. Number 29, 1947. Dear Anne, sorry it took me so long to answer your last letter. It's been 6 weeks since I left Montreal. As you always say, les temps passent si vite. I don't know anything. Don't worry about me. My parents are glad that I'm done with my studies. They always thought it was a strange idea for me to go back to university. Now they want me to find a husband and have children like any other woman. I think I will. These past few months I've had a lot of time to reflect on a relationship. You know my feelings for you. I hope you never forget how much I love you, but we cannot hide our heads in the sand any longer. We were lucky our story lasted as long as it did, and I'm foolish to think it would last forever. Our love is forbidden, and hiding it from my family is proving more difficult every day. You'll always have a special place in my heart, but I believe it's time for us to go our separate ways. You make me feel like a teenager. You made everything but the present disappear. Now I need to be an adult and think about the future. Sincerely, M.
That riddle's a toughie. Maybe I need a fresh pair of eyes on it.
No, I think we're fine. Evidence selection mode.
Doris Day. That's an alliteration, isn't it? Doris. I-S.
Yeah. This was the one I missed. I can barely listen to Sister Miller's lecture today in secret language. All I do is look at your lips and imagine kissing you. I can't wait for tonight. M. Cute. Okay, so our other one was... Unlike my favorite bar, this one was black.
Cat named Greta. G-R.
Black cat, white cat. Okay, I was on the right track. Glad I remembered that was a cat collar there. All right, so where do I put that in? Is it in the safe? There. Noticed yours was pretty worn down, so I decided to buy you a new one. I hope you like it, and since you enjoy them so much, here's a little puzzle to figure out the combination. From the first one, favorite bar, GR. Last one, IS. Puzzle to combination. I mean, yeah, let's put the letters back. We don't want to get... them in trouble, and we don't want to get in trouble ourselves. Obviously, they're going out of their way to hide it for very good reason. Wasn't the safe, which is what I kind of assumed. Haven't I noticed? I feel like it. Puzzles figure out the combination. Was it something that was in here? This is a music box. Okay.
So GR from Greta and IS from Doris.
Case on the bed. And okay, thank you for letting me know. I
Could
would
that be
not
the
have
code
figured
for
that
the
out.
case on the
Let's
bed in 509?
pick up this key.
It's worth a try.
Pick up this key. Close that. Hopefully that counts as locking it. Can't close that. Okay. So we don't want anyone to know that we've been here, and we don't want the police, who we know eventually show up, to arrest a bunch of gay people just for being gay. All right. This case. Okay. Been too long. I hope everyone had a nice holiday season. That's A. That's not R. There we go. Yeah, I wish I remembered more about the Postman Rings Twice. I've never seen it, so I couldn't tell you. I know it's a noir, which is what we're dealing with. This is a noir, but I don't remember what other themes and stuff it has. Noir was a genre that had a lot of like hidden gay stuff in it because of just the time period that it was coming out and the Hays Code. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was sort of a queer-coded noir.
Bridget Boswell is actually you, Marcella?
Oh, Marcella's writing all the lesbian books. Good for you. Dear Marcella, or should I say Bridget? I don't know if this was the one with the French accent, and I can't do that anyway, so we're just gonna go with the British because it's one I can do. I know you prefer a good old crime story, but last week I came upon a romance novel with an intriguing title, and they were roommates. I brought it on an impulse at a train station, read it cover during our journey. You imagine my surprise when I recognized our story. You may have changed the names and locations, but all of our moments are there. Our endless discussions in the dorm rooms, our first date at the theater, our trip to Quebec City. You often said writers are thieves, but I never fully understood it until now. It has been almost 10 years since I received your last letter, the letter that painted our relationship as nothing more than a summer fling. At first I could not believe you'd written those words. Then I waited for your answer and had to accept your love for me had never been real. For many years I was broken-hearted, angry, confused. I questioned the nature of our feelings, of our attraction, made our many wrong decisions, but this book, your book, am I foolish to think this is proof you really loved me? In any case, I hope you are well, and I am happy to see you accomplish the dream of becoming a writer.
Oh,
Trace
Anne.
Vermont.
Murder might be a bit much, but you deserve some kind of justice.
I didn't expect you to reply to my letter. I'm happy to see I was wrong. Your words comforted me in a time of great distress. If only Luis was half the man you say Hector is. He's had quite a temper and hits me frequently. I'm willing to put up with it as long as he doesn't hurt Michael, but there are days he becomes almost unbearable. The other day I dreamt of our first date. We were watching The Postman Only Rings Twice again, but suddenly we were in the movie. You were Lana Turner and I was John Garfield. We were both plotting to kill my husband. I hate to admit it, but I almost hope it was premonitory. To answer your question, we gotta throw these letters away if we get the opportunity. These are very incriminating. To answer your question, I do still have our box. My brother currently works in Atlanta for work, and I was thinking of going to see him with Michael next month. If we're able to meet there, we could open the box together and laugh at the silly things we thought were important years ago. I hope to hear from you again soon. Trey Sincermont. A. P.S. Do you remember that secret language we invented so Sister Miller couldn't understand the notes we were passing grade class? I still do.
I do like a happy ending. I just hope that's where your story is headed.
Thank you for sending me a signed version of your latest novel. I think it's your greatest work yet, but I do have a few comments to help make the next one even better. First, I believe Rose should be more concerned with what she deserves than what her husband deserves. He may not deserve the pain she will be causing by leaving him, but they both deserve to be happy. And they won't be as long as they remain together, as long as she doesn't listen to her own needs. Also, I think it would be great if your next novel ended on a more positive note. Imagine if Rose left her husband and rode in the sunset with Eve. Imagine that he went to New York or Los Angeles, someplace where people like us were tolerated. Imagine if they got to have their happy ending. It'd be the best story ever. I hope you will consider it. Clever little coding bit there. I know you'll say invisibility protects us, but don't you just wish to be seen sometimes? Wouldn't you like people to know you are Bridget Boswell, to recognize you on the street, to recognize you for your work? Why not publish your next novel under your own name? Not here. Not now.
Oh, so you came to Montreal under the pretense of celebrating your wedding anniversary. But all along, you meant to reunite with Anne.
Yes, Sophie. What a concept. I left in the house. I left Louise. I couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't lie anymore. How do you do it? How do you manage to live a double life? To hide your work and your novels from your husband. I had so much less to hide, and yet. Michael and I are staying at the Clarendon Hotel until we find a place to stay when the divorce is done. I don't know how long it will take. Could you meet me and Michael? I really need you by my side right now. I wouldn't put it past Luis to scour every hotel guest book in the region under a surname, so I've registered under the name Beaumont. That's dangerous.
There's a lot of stuff in here. I don't think I've looked at everything. After all this, turns out you're a fan of Bridget? Of Marcella? That's a lot sweeter than I expected.
Dear Marcella, although you don't know me, I can safely say I'm your biggest fan. Your novels have literally changed my life. After the war, I spent almost 10 years in a psychiatric hospital because of the panic attacks. None of the treatments were working, so I wasn't getting any better. I became friends with one of the nurses who started lending me your books so I could pass the time. Didn't really like the first ones, but I picked up Bridget Boswell's first novel, your novel. I had never read such a beautiful love story. It almost brought me to tears. I immediately urged the nurse to get me more of your books. Believe it or not, the more I read them, the less panic attacks I had. Doctors thought it was their new medication finally working, but I knew the truth. Your novels gave me the courage to get in contact with Lindsay, a friend from the war. I always had feelings for him, the same way your characters feel for each other. I never dated him again. No, dared telling him. Now I have, thanks to you. The thought of seeing him again is what motivated me, and he died. Oh, that poor guy. Seeing you again is what motivated me to get better and leave the hospital. I hope to hear from him soon. After my discharge, I wanted to thank you for everything you've done. I've discovered Bridget was a pseudonym, so tracking you down took longer than I thought. Fortunately, I'm a very patient and resourceful man. I never give up. Do you think we can meet? I have so much to tell you.
I'm glad you were able to open up to Marcella like this. Everyone needs someone to talk to.
Thank you for answering my letter. I realize now how unsettling it must have been for you. Please forgive me for tracking your editor and giving you an address. Tricking your editor into giving me your address. I know I shouldn't have done that. I wanted to thank you as well for encouraging words concerning Lindsay. I still haven't heard from him. I'm starting to fear I might have the wrong address. I wish I could take a train to Virginia, but that's not an option right now, and I can barely pay the rent. I guess I'll have to find a job. As a kid, I dreamt of being an actor, a Hollywood star. I know it's a foolish dream, but what else can I do? What am I good at? I've tried getting some odd jobs already, but employers turn me down as soon as they learn I've spent the last 10 years of my life. If it continues like this, I'll probably end up on the street like many of my army buddies. Why am I even telling you all this? After reading your books and getting to know you through them, I tend to forget I'm only a stranger to you. I hope you don't mind. You seem to be a good listener, and I've been feeling rather lonely ever since I left the hospital. Anyway, please tell me about your life, and do not hesitate to write long letters. I must have read your previous one 1,000 times already.
An advance on my salary. So Marcella hired you. But what for?
Dear Marcella, I've just received a letter from Lindsay's mother. She tells me she's dead. Words cannot even begin to describe how empty I feel. He died 2 years ago before I sent my first letter. He will never know my feelings for him, and I will never know if he could have loved me back. I guess I should have known it would end in pain, just like your novels. I wish I had Lindsay's ability to find beauty everywhere. Even during the war, amidst the death and chaos, he would marvel at the forests of Germany, the sun, the birds. He loved birds so much, he could identify them just by listening to their song. I have to admit, your proposition took me by surprise. I was hesitant to leave home at first. I was afraid to miss Lindsay's answer, but now there's nothing keeping me here. I'm desperate for anything to help me forget the pain, but I don't have enough money to make it to Texas. You think you could give me an advance on my salary? In spite of everything, I'm excited to finally meet you, Paul.
So this was all a story about star-crossed lovers, with the lovers in question being Mrs. Beaumont and Mrs. Cruz?
Seems like it, yeah. But I'm not sure whether they chose to meet here just to reconnect for a few days, or if there's something more to it.
They hire him to try and find evidence he could use to get a divorce for the other woman.
Some mail just arrived here for Mrs. Beaumont.
I wonder what's in it.
Me too.
Should we open it?
Well, that's illegal.
Yes, as is
But
basically everything we've done.
sometimes the mail arrives a little damaged, you know? Oops.
Very subtle.
So?
It's a tourism pamphlet for California and 3
Or at
train
least wouldn't have been a
tickets.
crime in the United States. It just would have
What do you
been
think this
heavily
I'd say
hated at
Anne
the
and
time.
Marcella are probably planning to run away from their husbands. Those train tickets must be for them and Michael.
So you're on a first-name basis now, huh?
Well, after reading so much of their correspondence, I kind of feel like I know them, you know?
Yeah, like characters in a book. I have to say, though, I'm still a bit confused as to how Paul fits into all of this.
I think Marcella hired him. I found some letters Paul wrote to her. He said that her proposition took him by surprise.
Yeah, I think he's
and that
hired
he'd
as a
need
private
an
eye to get
advance on his
evidence
salary.
What would she hire him
for divorce
though?
or something.
I'm not sure. I didn't find the letter he was replying to.
And why did he have those pictures of you?
We'll probably never know. I think the trail ends here.
I guess investigations in real life always have some loose ends. I was kind of hoping we'd have this big third act reveal, to be honest.
Cue
At least it
gunshot.
made our day pretty interesting.
That's for sure. It helped me understand you better, too.
Oh?
Why you snoop, I mean. Piecing together people's stories, learning what makes them tick. It makes you realize we may have more in common than it seems.
You're right. It's a good reminder that there are always reasons for the way people are, even if we can't pick up on them right away.
Yeah. We're all made up of what came before. I'm glad
Thesis.
you understand where I'm coming from. Would you come and see me when your shift ends? We could leave together, if you'd like.
Sure. If we're able to. With all that snow, I'm thinking maybe we'll have no choice but to spend the night here.
I guess that wouldn't be so bad. We could set up a pillow fort on the mezzanine.
A pillow
You
fort?
dork.
We do work in a hotel, you know. There are actual beds here.
Oh, I wouldn't be sleeping. I've got a reading list the size of the Eiffel Tower. This would be the perfect chance to put a dent in it.
That does sound like fun. I could bring my magazines and, ooh, maybe light some of Rebecca's candles.
Now I kinda hope we do get stuck here.
I just have to finish my tasks for the day, and then I can leave.
Close. Is this one of these? Mysterious young man. That one's not. I'm not going to remember every single thing that was evidence of gay relationship, but I should probably try and hide some of it. Oh yeah. Yeah, clean up anything that I've left around that could incriminate me or anybody else. Let's go back to the other guy's room and see if we can throw anything away. Oh no, it's already... I can't control my directions. Ah! She didn't pay us. She didn't pay him to kill the husband, did she? That's a really conspicuous place to leave a corpse.
Mr. Cruz? Mr. Cruz. Oh God. Oh God. What happened? Is this about Paul? Does that mean...
Possible. However, dear Mr. Cruz, thank you for reporting that guest's unacceptable behavior. We will look into it as soon as possible. However, I regret to inform you that you cannot divulge a guest's personal information regardless of their behavior. So I'm sure you'll understand we're very concerned with our guest's privacy and staff's prides itself in discretion. Please contact us should the guest bother you again. Yours sincerely.
Mr. Cruz's life insurance policy. Why did he have this on him? Marcella? Okay, let's not jump to conclusions.
$11 a month. Anything else to grab off of here?
Marcella? Okay, let's not jump to conclusions.
Do we hide the evidence? It's another guest that's bothering him, so it probably Paul, but it's hard to say for sure. I mean, just based on the tone of the game, I kind of don't think they did the murder, but I'm not certain of that. Anything else to look at, or just those? And then to decide if I throw them away. This room. Just on precaution, let's throw away the novel. Alright, let's go investigate this murder. Bunch of rooms I
Hello? Is anyone in?
wasn't able to go into before.
Hello?
Oh, that looks bad.
A. B. and Beaumont.
Okay. Before we jump to any sort of strong choices about evidence stuff, let's... So if there was a murder here, we do want...
Hold on to this, maybe? Poor Paul. Lindsay's death really hit him hard. He hasn't been in the best headspace.
Montreal's much bigger than I expected. Big cities always make me feel lonely. That feeling was only exacerbated by this morning's by the fact that everyone around me was speaking a language I could not understand. Bought an English-French dictionary at the train station, but I don't think I need it. After all, English speakers are more common in the downtown area, thank God. Hotel is nice. When I arrived, the whole staff was busy getting ready for some big event. It wasn't until I saw Marcella enter the lobby with a flower bouquet that I realized today's Valentine's Day. Hector and her were gone in a flash, and I was left feeling more alone than ever, wishing Lindsay was here with me. Helping Marcella out these past weeks has been a great distraction, but it still hurts so much every time I think about him. I had hoped the pain would have gone by now. Probably needed a double dose of melatonin to sleep tonight.
So
Today I
Paul
wanted
just
to...
needed to pass the time while Marcella was away. That's why he was observing us.
Wished to follow Marcella and Hector out of the hotel, but the sidewalks were so packed with people I started having a panic attack. I tried to grab a cab, and that's when I realized I was out of money. It's been a while since Marcella's last payment, and the hotel room was more expensive than I had anticipated. Couldn't resort to selling the camera, so I decided to pawn my victory medal instead. It was hard letting go after so many years. It felt strangely liberating. Maybe it's a sign I shouldn't be holding on to the past so much. Fight the boredom until Marcella and Hector's return. I started looking to the hostel's staff. I heard Andrew and Beth at the reception desk discussing books and movies. They both seemed like nice people. I wish I'd had the courage to join their conversation. When you look at people and they never look back, you start feeling invisible. I noticed that Sophie, the maid in charge of the fifth floor, seems to share my interest in other people's lives. Maybe I should try talking to her.
Paul was hiding out, right here. Did he ever find the person who was sneaking out at night?
Who's sneaking out of the room every night? The question has been driving me crazy since my first night at the hotel. So today I decided to investigate. I've been hiding near the ice machine with a nice view of the whole corridor. Cameras at the ready, but there's no movement for at least 3 hours. I'm fighting not to fall asleep. I need no need for melatonin tonight. I thought being a detective would be more exciting, but Marcella's right. Maybe it's time to let go of Mr. Spade.
9:45? So, Anne and Marcella met here this morning while I was busy cleaning room 504.
I woke at 9:30 a.m. I realized I had fallen asleep in sometime in the early morning. I was about to go back to the best room when I guessed from room 507. Came to the chairs close by. She's been there ever since. I don't dare leave the hiding spot in front of her. Marcella joined the guest from 507, 1945, 9:45. Apparently, she told Hector she doesn't love him anymore, and now she's convinced he's convinced she's been cheating on him. That explains why he assaulted me out of the blue yesterday evening and accused me of having an affair with his wife. Guest from 507, I've learned her name is Anne, has just said she might have an idea about how to solve their problem. I'm thinking of relieving myself. I don't want to anger Marcella. The longer I wait, the more awkward it'll be when I come out. Maybe I should. Oh, God.
Oh, so Paul's work with Marcella was to follow her around like a private investigator, to help her with research for her novel.
Dear Paul, I'm sorry to hear you in such a dire situation. You seem to possess a lot of useful skills, and it's a shame employers cannot see past your medical history. But don't despair. I've been writing novels for almost 8 years now. My publisher makes most of my sales revenue, but I will still able to collect a substantial sum of money over the years. Now I'd like to use that money to hire you. Tired of romance novels, I'm thinking of breaking out into crime fiction, a sort of research. I would like you to follow me around town and take notes of my comings and goings. I'm aware it's a very unusual job, but considering you were able to track me down, I believe you might make a great private detective. In addition to your salary, I could cover work-related expenses, and you would, of course, be the first to read the manuscript once it's finished.
Paul really got into his role.
Dear Paul, I hope spying on me isn't proving too exhausting. You really inspired me so far, and I'm really having tons of ideas. The trench coats you brought are a nice touch. It's straight out of film noir. I've also noticed you started smoking. It's probably another way to get into character, but maybe that's pushing it a little too far. You know best, of course, but don't pick up drinking next. At any rate, I should be able to start writing in 2 or 3 weeks. Thanks again for your help.
He followed Marcella to Montreal even though she was done with her research.
You follow me on the mount. As I already told you, I do not require your services anymore. I'm starting to worry you're taking your role too seriously. You're not a detective. You have to let go. It's the camera. Nothing for me to look at.
I have to get the power back on.
Okay, so they were here early this morning. All 3 of them were. Paul's kind of losing it. And was observing everything. But who could have done the murder then? And how was the murder done? If it was a murder, let's take a look. Can we look at the body again? It's pretty dark. There's a lot of blood from the neck, which implies he might have been stabbed in the neck by that ice pick. But the other thing I notice is that there's a lot of blood right here on the corner of the ice machine. And we didn't hear any noise of a struggle, even though we were in one of the rooms on the floor. So, I mean, I don't want to overthink it, but it seems like it definitely, whatever happened, happened here. I don't see any blood on the ice pick. And I didn't hear a sound of a struggle, and he clearly walked, but there is some evidence of a struggle because there's a torn pearl necklace.
The fuse box.
Evidence,
Just
evidence,
get to the fuse
evidence.
box in the janitor's closet, Sophie. It's not far.
Where's that photo of 507? Neither of these drawings do the women have pearls. We don't have photos here. So, right now it's possible that it was some sort of weird accident. I don't think that's the case, but it's possible. It's possible that he had a fight with his wife, and that's when the attack happened. Or it's possible, but I don't think likely, that Paul got too far into his role and killed the guy. I don't really want to get the wrong person convicted, but I also really don't want to get... I don't want to make a murderer go free if this was a murder. Let's just turn on the power and see what happens. I hid the gay evidence, but not the actual crime evidence other than the insurance money claim. So let's go see what happens. Power.
It's too big. I guess I'll need something pointier.
Weren't there other tools here?
I don't think there's anything here that would help me.
No, of course not.
Think, Sophie, think. What can you use to open the fuse box?
I love you, Willow.
This can wait.
There's no power, and for some reason we can't conceive of stairs. Feels like it's our last chance to hide any evidence of stuff.
There are more pressing matters right now, Sophie.
Say this makes him look like a stalker. There's not a lot I can do about making him not look crazy. He's just kind of gonna look crazy unless I hide everything in his room. Which sucks because it's not that he's a bad person. It's just that he has trauma.
Hello? Is anyone
and he
in?
doesn't know how to handle it.
Hello? I need help.
His diary. These are the letters that said he was hired. That might provide some context for the police to figure out why stuff's going on. I think I've done all I can. I hid the evidence of gay stuff so no one gets arrested just for being gay. Hopefully the police solve the crime properly, even though I removed a little bit of evidence.
Maybe an ice pick could pry open the fuse box.
Oh, that makes sense. I wouldn't have thought of that because I was just thinking of that as evidence, not as... I assume they would have had fingerprinting by the 1950s? I don't know. They certainly wouldn't have had blood tests, I don't think. This was 50s? I don't remember. It's fine. Let's just push through and see how it ends and regret every decision we ever made. Nope. Ice pick.
It's too big. That worked, thank God. Now, to get the power, Eugene, what I would give to have you with me right now.
Is he pressing collapsing?
Your note will have to make do.
Fuse box for required amperage of each socket. Remove blown fuses, usually blackened. Screw in new fuses. Make sure amperage is correct. Flick big lever. There's our amperage.
How did this end up here?
Safe combinations. Is that a...
Not much use without the rest of the code. Not much use without the rest of the code.
Is that a ketchup stain or a blood stain? $509. 23.4 something. Why would it give us that? And why would that be an important clue?
Getting the fuse box open was half the battle. Now I need to take a look inside and fix what needs fixing.
23.4 something. Unfortunately, 4 something still leaves us with what, like 1,000 options, because it could be any of the like 100 times the 10 for each of the 40. I'm not doing that. That's so weird, though. And why is this stain here? Yeah, you can't read it through the stain. You can read some of them through the stain, but not there. Bizarre. Okay. Just screw in new fuses to the sockets, make sure the amperage is correct. Type A is a 15, so type A goes...
do this again. Fuses. I probably need new fuses.
Well, wouldn't they be here?
I don't think there's anything here that would help me. Can't call Eugene for help, but he did leave some instructions inside the fuse box. That's the next best thing.
Fuse box plan for the right amount. Remove the blown ones. It's like the big lever. Sure, all that's great. Where do you keep the fuses? Fuses. So as much as Let's Go Lesbians, I don't want to just leave.
This is what I need.
Oh, they're just faffing about. It's type A. Uh, 30, which matches here. So that's the yellow, which is type G. Scroll to screw. That's type A. And did I get a type S?
How does Eugene do this again?
No.
Fuses.
I probably need new fuses.
There. Wow, what a horrible work environment. Making sure that's 20. It matches this 20, which is an S. And then Chikunkle. And that's probably our lock-in for people discovering something's wrong.
Power's back. Now I should go down to the lobby. Call the police.
Don't know why you couldn't take the stairs when you did that, but it's fine.
Is there anything I've forgotten? Once I leave this floor, I probably won't be able to come back.
Yeah. I mean, like, here's the thing. I don't want people to be arrested just for being gay, but, like, serious crimes did happen here. Like, this guy, we know that, like, I know that he's not just some lunatic, which is what they'll treat him like, but he's also doing a bunch of illegal stalking. After being told not to explicitly by the person who hired him and no longer was retaining him. I don't want the lesbians to go to jail for being lesbians, but if one of them did the murder, then I don't want them going free just because I like lesbians. So I think this is my call. I think I hide the gay stuff, hide my notes and anything that ties me to being a criminal here, which I've mostly been doing, and we just see what happens. I'm sure there's a ton of different endings based on what you did. Make sure that I can't do anything further to hide the stuff in either of these two rooms. Alright, doesn't give me a relock option, so hopefully the police don't need to read through that. Let's just see what happens. I will probably not be playing through to get different endings on channel. If you are interested, I recommend playing through yourself. It's a cool game. They put a lot of work into it, and I think it's really impressive. So let's see what ending I get. And
sorry.
if you're interested, don't move.
Sorry.
Well, I guess you
I'm so
have to
sorry.
move. Why are you taking the stairs? There have to be stairs. You've said that in the lobby, and also that's a fire safety thing. Why are you moving the carcass? That's evidence. That's fingerprints. Let's see what happens. I have a feeling I've done a very bad job, but we'll see.
Andrew? Where is everyone?
Are we having a surprise party for the murder?
Anybody down here?
Can't open that. This is weird. Let's call the let's call.
Montreal Police Service, Station 22.
There's a man dead. He's been murdered. I need the police.
Please stay calm, ma'am. Where are you right now?
The lobby, but the body, it's upstairs.
Can you give me the address, please?
Oh, 1178 Drummond Street.
All right, ma'am. Officers are on their way.
Here's hoping.
Thank you. No.
Hey, you're here. I've tried restoring the power, but I think Eugene's the only one with the key to the fuse box, and Sophie? Don't worry, I'll find a way to bring the lights back on. Hey, you look a bit pale. Is everything okay?
No?
I found Mr. Cruz. Hector.
He's back? How's he taking that whole thing with his wife?
You don't understand. I found his body. He's dead, Andrew.
Jesus. Maybe you need to sit down, huh?
And for sure, Paul's going to be sent to jail, maybe for life, and that sucks, because
Did you call the police?
it really looks like
Yeah,
he's a
they're-
lunatic.
They're on their way.
What happened? Was he sick or something?
He real sick of a
I
deep
don't think
wound to
so.
his neck.
Someone did this to him.
You mean... Jesus. Do you think it could be Paul?
I don't think so, if I'm being honest.
What about Anne and Marcella? Their affair is a pretty good motive.
The police will want to ask you a lot of questions. You may want to be careful about what you tell them. With Paul's history of mental illness, there's a good chance they'll suspect him even if he didn't do it.
Yeah.
I think I know what you mean. Some people seem to assume that spending time in a psychiatric hospital means you're a murderous psychopath.
And
Yeah.
I've probably
They really do.
damned him just because I didn't want to get
You
rid of too
know-
much evidence.
When I was 19, I studied to be a priest. But I felt so lost. I couldn't enjoy the things I used to like. I could barely get myself out of bed. So I ended up going to a psychiatric hospital. And the doctors, they helped me get back on my feet. But when I returned to my hometown, it was like I had become a complete stranger. My mother kept telling me I was making it worse in my head, but I swear, people were changing sidewalks when they saw me, looking at me as if I was this dangerous creature all of a sudden. That's why I didn't tell you that.
What?
Call it coincidence or fate, but that psychiatric hospital, it's the same one Paul went to. I've met him there, talked to him a bit.
Interesting. So
I'm sorry I didn't say anything before.
Andrew's been to a psychiatric hospital, and
It's
I bet
okay.
if you chose the other, if you
I
chose
get why you
Beth or
did
whatever
it.
her name was,
You
I bet
do?
she's probably a lesbian, because you can probably date whoever you choose. So she's going to be empathetic to the
You know how I tell everyone that my mom's sick, bedridden? Well, it's true, but I always leave out the part about her illness not being physical. I'm ashamed of the truth. So even though I don't know exactly what you went through, I can understand.
Thank you for telling me. I know it's not an easy thing to talk about, but if you ever want to talk about your mom, I'm here. They're here. Promise me you'll be careful with the information you share.
Yeah, of course.
I don't think it's going to end well for this playthrough.
Miss Roy? Miss Roy? Miss Roy!
Oh, sorry. I was distracted.
I really need you to focus right now. I don't want to be here all night, and I'm sure you don't either.
No, I don't.
How could you possibly
So,
be distracted
as I
when you
was
found a
saying,
corpse at work?
We're trying to ascertain the circumstances of Mr. Cruz's death. Can you tell me how you came to find the body?
I was cleaning room 509 when I heard the elevator bell ring. again and again and again.
Yeah?
I thought maybe a child was playing with the doors. So I went out in the corridor, and that's when I saw him. All the blood and...
Why was the elevator bell ringing?
I'm sorry?
You said you heard the elevator bell ring. Why was it ringing? I assume it wasn't a child after all.
Well, Mr. Cruz's body was preventing the doors from closing.
Really? When we found the body, it wasn't that close to the doors.
Oh, the stairs are blocked because of the renovations, so the elevator's the only way out of the 5th floor. I had no choice but to move the body. Just a little.
Ah, so that explains the traces we found. Thank you for clearing that up. So...
We could have gotten ourselves
what
arrested
did you do
there.
after that?
Well, that's when the power cut. So I had to go to the janitor's closet.
To access the fuse box.
Exactly. I changed a few fuses and turned the power back on.
But there's a lock on that box, isn't there? Did you have the key?
No, I didn't. Only Eugene does. But I thought an ice pick might do the trick, so I went to the ice machine to get one.
You're a size 7, I suppose.
Yes, I am. Why?
What did you see when you went to the ice machine?
There was blood. A lot of it.
Did you touch anything?
I might have touched a few things. Just to figure out what had happened to Mr. Cruz.
Of course you did. Why so many witnesses can't help but compromise the evidence is just beyond me.
Yeah.
Anyway, what did you do after restoring the power?
I took the elevator down to the lobby. That's where I called the police.
Do you remember what you said to the operator? The exact words.
No, I'm afraid I don't.
You said, there's a man dead. He's been murdered.
That's possible.
What makes you so sure it was murder?
All of the blood?
I just assumed. What with all the blood. It just didn't look like an accident, you know?
I see. Would you say you're an observant person, Miss Roy?
I think I would, yes.
Good. Then maybe you can help me fill in a few details about this case.
I'll do my best.
We've learned from one of your colleagues that the victim had a fight with a guest named Mr. Spade. What can you tell me about him?
I mean, we made the promise.
I don't really know anything about him. He seems nice, though.
Nice. I wouldn't be so sure.
Oh?
We found out that Mr. Spade is fresh out of a madhouse. When we called the place, they painted quite the picture of him. Did you ever see him display odd behavior in or around the hotel?
No. I mean, we've all got our little quirks, don't we?
Did he seem obsessed with Mrs. Cruz?
A little, maybe, but...
Obsessed enough to kill her husband?
No, nothing like that. We all have our obsessions. Me, for instance. I'm obsessed with celebrities and gossip magazines, and...
You don't seem to understand, Miss Roy. Mr. Spade is not like you and me. He may look like us, but he's not. He's dangerous and needs to be taken off the streets. So tell me, did you ever see him be violent or aggressive?
Take a stand or deny. I mean, that sounds more like how I behave, not what I say.
You're wrong.
I beg your pardon?
He is like us. We all struggle sometimes, some of us more than others, but there's nothing wrong with that.
You may not have noticed, Miss Roy, but neither of us are in an insane asylum right now.
He was brave enough to seek help. That doesn't make him a criminal. That doesn't mean he killed Mr. Cruz.
You know, I'm starting to worry about your own mental state, Miss Roy, since you're so eager to defend
And I worry about your ability to do your job, Detective, since you seem to be such a...
Enough! One more word, Just one more word, and you'll be spending the rest of your night in a cell. Now get the hell out of here. I've had enough of you.
Yeah, he's probably going to jail. Which is unfortunate, but also he really did seem to have a pretty dangerous mental breakdown if he was turning into a private detective. I don't think he did the murder, but...
Bernard was strangely chipper on the phone. That can't be a good sign. I guess I'll know soon. The atmosphere is so different in here. It'll probably be a while before the hotel reopens.
I'll go empty my locker.
Andrew!
Hey.
Are you okay?
I've just been fired.
What? No,
It's okay. I just need some time to process it. I'll be on the mezzanine if you want to join me afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
I don't know what I could have done that got him fired. Probably forgot to hide
Miss
some
Roy.
evidence or something.
Come in. I suppose you know why you're here?
I'm not sure, actually. Your phone call was a bit vague.
Yes, well, I prefer to have this conversation in person. We've been getting a lot of press lately, and not the good kind. I wouldn't expect you to understand the position I'm in, but I assure you, it's quite uncomfortable. To have one's life's work blown away like that. All thanks to some sexual deviance and a nut job.
I guess I didn't hide the evidence
I
well
haven't
enough.
been firm enough. For guests of such morals to be comfortable booking a few nights here and committing such a horrid act.
I thought I hid it all well enough.
Things need to change. This means elevating our standards to the highest possible level, and it starts with the people working here. It starts with you.
With me?
Yes. From what I've heard, you've been quite the exemplary maid lately. Clean rooms, satisfied guests.
I take my job very
Yeah,
seriously.
I put myself
sir.
first. I guess that
Yes, you
makes
should.
sense.
We'll see
I
for
spent
the
the whole game
future, but
putting
for
myself
now,
first and
you'll
not
be allowed
leaving
to
anything
continue
behind.
working here.
Thank you.
I'm not done. The police have finished their investigation and left a mess on the 5th floor. I want you to clean it up.
You want me to go back there?
Yes, why not?
I found a dead body on that floor. I'm not going back.
I'll make this simple for you. If you don't do it, you're fired.
You can't fire me. Because I quit.
Sure. I fire you, you quit. It's all the same to me. Just make sure to empty your locker before the end of the month. That'll be all.
Yep. No, I did a bad job. It's been so long. It's been like 2 weeks since I last played, so I couldn't have remembered every piece of evidence that pointed towards
Hey,
Hey,
the gay.
what a week.
you don't say. So what did Bernard want with you?
Well, he was being kind of a jerk, so I quit.
You what?
I quit. I figured there was no point in staying if you were leaving.
I'm flattered, but that really wasn't necessary.
I think it's for the best. Did Bernard say why he was firing you?
Well, I told him about my time at the psychiatric hospital.
And he can just
Really?
legally do that.
Yeah. He said that that didn't fit with the hotel standards and showed me the door.
Well, I'm not one bit worried about you. I know you'll be just fine.
Yeah. Hopefully I will be.
Think of all the good times you'll have away from Bernard.
It's funny you should say that, because I was actually thinking I'd like being my own boss. I've had this dream for a while of maybe opening a bookstore.
You'll have to get a loan, which
Can't
will be
say I'm
tough, but
surprised.
It just makes so much sense. I'd be able to combine the two things I love most, reading books and helping people. Granted, helping people find books is a far cry from helping them find God, but...
My mom likes to say, there's no job too small. Plus, just by the way you're talking about it, it's obvious it'd make you happy. And that's what really matters, I think.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you. I'm really glad I have you in my life.
Me too. I've been thinking about Paul a lot.
Oh, really? Should I be jealous?
No, not in that way. I've been thinking about what he went through. And you as well. How you've been ashamed of something you have no control over. How I've been ashamed of my own mother. I don't want to be ashamed of her anymore. And I don't want to be ashamed of you.
Well, then let's be shameless together. Look, it may be hard at first, but I have a feeling a wind of change is about to blow. One day, struggling with your own mind won't be any more shameful than having chickenpox.
I really hope that's true.
It will be.
Yeah, I didn't do the best job. Oh, I don't want to see who got arrested and what went wrong. All three of them. Oof, I did a bad job. But someone did the murder. It seems very likely. So we can't just destroy all the evidence. That's unfortunate. Yeah, it's about the worst possible ending. Oh, this wouldn't have been happy either way. Either I'd have been poor or I'd have been miserable. It's a noir. It doesn't end happy. So that's the game. Yeah, I definitely feel bad that I didn't save anyone, but also I had to stick to giving the police the right chance to arrest the right person. It's just impossible to say who. I'm not the detective good enough to figure out if there was it was just an accident or whatever. So bummer of an ending, but good game. I'll, as always, let the credits roll, and you guys have a good one. And we'll be back with hopefully something a bit more, maybe not upbeat, but at least something a little less just kind of downer ending soon. Bye.